Good afternoon, and welcome to the 800 Credit Score Man Show. I am your host, Kevin King. He is I, and I am him, the 800 Credit Score Man himself. And again, thank each and every one of you for coming in and listening to the 800 Credit Score Man Show. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. It's Saturday, y'all, so you know the 800 Credit Score Man Show is on 2:30 on the East Coast, 1:30 Central Standard Time, and that's 11:30 a.m. on the West Coast. So again, thank you for coming in and listening to the show. I want you to do me a favor. Take the show and share it. Share it on all your social media platforms. Share it on Facebook and wherever else you are. Please share the show with your friends, your family, and all of that stuff. I truly appreciate it. And if you can, tag me. Tag me in it. I'm 800 Credit Score Man on Instagram. On Twitter, I'm at Credit Score _man on Twitter. On Facebook, you can catch me as 800 Credit Score Man. You can get to that page as well and go join Credit Score Comeback, that Facebook group. Credit Score Comeback. It is 4 words, all capital. Join Credit Score Comeback on Facebook. So look, what are we going to talk about today? Today we're going to talk about good debt versus bad debt and how that impacts your credit score. So that's what we're going to talk about today on the 800 Credit Score Man Show. Let me get a shout out, which I should have gave last week. Sharon King. Happy belated birthday to you, Sharon King. That's my aunt, you guys. So everybody wish my aunt Sharon King a happy belated birthday. I need to give a shout out to Sherrod and Marie Denson. They celebrated their first wedding anniversary last week as well. So happy anniversary to you guys. Many more coming your way, I'm sure. And yesterday was Clinton Pearson's birthday. So I want to give him a shout out as well. So happy birthday to you, Clinton. All right, so let's jump into the show. Good debt versus the bad debt, and how is that going to impact your credit score? What is good debt? What is bad debt? You all should probably know what bad debt is, but you may not know some of the good debt that's out there. Because yes, there is a such thing as good debt. So if you have a mortgage, you've got a mortgage, that's good debt. Your home, it appreciates. It appreciates in value, meaning that the value goes up. You bought the home for $85,000. You bought the home for $100,000. In a couple of years, it's worth $105,000, or it's worth $112,000. Whatever it is, that means it's appreciating. The value is going up. So that is a good debt for you. So your home, that's good debt for you. Your home is absolutely an appreciating asset. And we talk on this show about increasing your credit scores. When you increase your credit scores, it's going to lower the interest rates that you pay when you go to get that mortgage. When you go get that mortgage, you'll pay less for it, but then potentially that home is going to go up in value. When it does that, you're going to make more money off of it if you happen to sell. Maybe it's your forever home, and you might stay in that home forever, but the typical person does something with their mortgage, whether they move or whether they refinance or what have you, in about 7 years. Some people shorter, of course, some people longer, but in about 7 years. So you always want to pay less money. No matter what it is, you want to pay less money, you want to pay less interest, which is the reason you want to increase your credit score in itself. So since that value typically goes up, and of course, let me give this disclaimer, of course, certain cities and even areas in a particular city have better value and increases in value than others. Across the country, values increase differently in Montana than they do in Seattle or in Chicago or in Houston. So yes, there is some change. Different places, there are change. We did go through a mortgage crisis 10 years ago where a lot of values fell, mostly all over the country. Some fell further than others did, and some have come back better than others have. But yes, your home is an appreciating asset, which means that is good debt. So your mortgage is good debt. So now, what's an example of bad debt? Now you ought to know at least one example of what's bad debt. What's bad debt is a car. A car is bad debt. So, well, I'm going to say it in my opinion, and in most cases, a car is bad debt, because I do like classic vehicles, something that you buy, looks like a rusted piece of junk, you buy it for $4,000, you put $20,000 in it, and now it's worth $50,000. That's an appreciating debt. But we're not talking about those kind of cars. We're talking about that Toyota sitting at the car lot. We're talking about when you go and buy another vehicle somewhere. A car is a depreciating. So mortgage was appreciating, which means it goes up. But a car is a depreciating asset. So that means that is bad debt. Because look, you can't go out today and buy you an you can let me put that you can go out today and buy you a $85,000 Mercedes. You absolutely can do that. If you got the income, you got the credit, knock yourself out, go buy $85,000 Mercedes Benz. But you can't turn around tomorrow and sell that Mercedes for $90,000. So it's not going to appreciate. As a matter of fact, you probably couldn't sell that Mercedes for the $85,000 that you paid for it. So that makes that Mercedes and cars in general a depreciating asset. And it doesn't have to be an $85,000 car. Just to let you know about it, doesn't have to be that. It can be the $30,000 Kia, it can be the $20,000 Toyota, whatever it is. As soon as you drive off that lot, I mean immediately, as soon as you drive off that lot, then the value of that vehicle goes down. So if you've got something that's going down in value, that is a depreciating asset. So that is some debt that you might have. And cars are a necessary evil in a lot of places. Maybe if you live somewhere where there's super, super, super mass transit that's really good, you live in New York or something like that, then maybe you don't need a car. But for the rest of the world, especially like flyover country, you got your Oklahomas and everything, you need a vehicle. So it's a necessary evil for you to have, but you should know that it is bad debt for you. So we're going to go to another example. And this one, I have no doubt that you all will know. Credit card debt. Yes, credit card debt is bad debt. Now, if you listen to the show, you know I'm a proponent of credit cards. If you're trying to improve your credit score, you need a credit card, in my opinion. That's one of the strategies that I would give you if you were my client and don't have a credit card. I'm going to tell you to get a credit card. So it is a necessary evil as well to have a credit card. That doesn't mean you have to use it all the time. You've got to carry a balance on it. You've got to charge, this much money on it, anything of that nature. But credit cards are a necessary evil and they are bad debt. So why is a credit card bad debt? I mean, how does that work? How is it good and bad at the same time? Credit cards work off of interest, right? So it's compound interest, which means that they're hitting you with interest on a daily basis. And that doesn't work in your favor when it comes to paying it off and things of that nature. Now, compound interest works in your favor if it's in your 401k. If it's in your 401k and you got money saved in there, that compound interest will help you in that end. If you've got a bank account that'll give you an interest rate and it's compound interest, that helps you because you're getting money for the money that's being held. But when you're paying it out, like you do with a credit card after you've charged something, that compound interest is working against you and not in your favor. So that's why it's bad debt. But at the same time, it is good for your credit score. So it's a little funky thing when it comes to your credit cards. It's a little funky, but it's an absolute necessary evil that you need to have. So look, if you take a look at your credit card statement and show you about how this compound interest works. If you take a look at your credit card statement, it'll show you how long it'll take you to get out of debt for this particular debt. And that's if you don't charge not another dime, how long it'll take you to get out of debt for whatever your balance is right then and there if you pay the minimum payment. And it'll show you what the interest is that you'll pay and how long it'll take you to get out of debt. So it can show that it'll take you 4, 5, 13 years to get out of debt, depending on how much you owe and what your interest rate is on that particular credit card. Now, what they do as well is, and this was not by the kindness of their heart, there was an act or a law or a suggestion that credit card companies do this to help people understand how much money they're going to pay for the debt that they have incurred. So they'll also put in there is if you pay a particular amount that's over your minimum every month, how many years it'll take you to get out of debt, and also, again, the interest, what the interest is going to be at the end of the day if you don't charge yet another dime. So that's what they do, and they show you on your credit card statement. So I'm gonna encourage you to take a look at it. It's those boxes. I think it's right on the first page of every credit card statement out there. Take a look and see what it is. It might shock you. If it does shock you, then make a plan. Make a plan in your head to get out of debt earlier than what they say. Nobody wants to still be paying for that refrigerator that you bought in 2011 and you're still paying for it and it's going to be 2020. You don't want to be doing that. Nobody wants to do that at all. Some of us are still paying for vacations and that time we charged Starbucks or went to dinner or whatever it is, we're still paying for years and years later because we put it on a credit card. So make sure that you go ahead and you take a look at those things. So if you got those items on there, you don't want to have to do that. That's bad debt. Credit cards are bad debt. Again, unnecessary evil, but they are a bad debt. So you need to make sure that you are aware of that and how it can and how it will absolutely impact your credit score. So a couple of bad debt things, right? We got credit cards and we have that car debt. That's your bad debt. But good debt is a mortgage. And again, good debts will help you financially. Not necessarily and all the time will they help you with your credit score. Sometimes, like I said, necessary evil, you need a place to stay. If you want to buy your home, you want your own space, you want your own yard, you want the 2-car garage, all of those things, then it may be better for you to get a mortgage than actually to be paying for somebody else's mortgage. Because if you're renting that home, then of course you're paying the mortgage and you're probably putting a little change in the landlord's pocket as well. So you're going to look at those things. All right, let me throw a couple of more shout outs before I get to some more debts for you guys. So I got to give a shout out to Monique and Monica Crane. They celebrate their birthday on this Monday. So happy birthday, ladies. Happy birthday to you guys. Keep going, doing your thing. And I got to give a shout out to Nick King. Yes, Nicholas King. Anybody named King on this show is probably related to me. This is my cousin. So happy birthday to Nick. He celebrated a birthday last week. And then I want to give a shout out to Jackie Robinson. And for no particular reason at all, she's just an avid listener to the show. So Jackie, thank you so very much for contacting me. I appreciate your words of encouragement. So I just wanted to give you a shout out and say thank you to Jackie Robinson. And then I got to give a shout out to Eugene Dooley Sr. Today. Yes, today is Eugene's birthday, so happy birthday to you, Eugene. All right, so we're not quite at the halfway point, but if I get in this other piece, we'll go well over. So let's do the question of the day. Question of the day comes from Alexis, and Alexis is out of California. I want to say she contacted me on Facebook. So you guys, you got questions? Contact me. Contact me on Facebook, 800 Credit Score Man on Facebook. On Instagram, 800 Credit Score Man. Email me at 800 at creditscoreman.com. Yep, that's 800 at creditscoreman.com. You can email me there and ask your questions. I will absolutely answer them for you. So Alexis from California, her question was, and like I said, it came through Facebook, was, do you teach about dealing with debt credit lawyers? Now, I took the question to mean, how do you deal with debt collection from attorneys? So, I thought that was a good question. I never really thought about it, really. I never really thought about it, although I've always had an opinion on it. So, I'm going to share my opinion on that. You treat, when you get that debt collection letter, and it comes from an attorney versus XYZ collection agency, but it comes from an attorney, you treat them same as any other debt collector. Personally, I think that these companies that use an attorney to go ahead and collect from you are basically trying to scare you. So they're trying to scare you. I mean, why else would you use a law firm when you can use people that do this on a daily basis? This is their job. This is what they do. They collect debts from people. Why would you use an attorney versus someone else? And the only reason I can come up with is because you're trying to scare people. So when